You all have got to stop doing drugs, like immediately. It's crazy. I can't tell you how many times I'm on the apps or I'm, just scrolling through doing whatever, and I get a message, hey, you party? Hey, you party? What are you partying with? Do you like this? No, no, I don't. First of all, I'm old. I shouldn't be partying at all. Don't like, no. I thought that we stopped doing this. I don't know, maybe for me, maybe because I've been working for Whole Foods for a while, or I was, and I'm just so used to everything being like organic and free range. Maybe I thought that like my men were too. Apparently not. There's GMOs out there, and they're taking place in the gay community. It's crazy. You all have got to stop doing drugs. And it's these kids. These kids are super, super young, and they hit you up like, hey, you have any tea? Or hey, I would love to do this for you or whatever, but do you party? And I'm like, no, I don't even want that in my house. If you're doing that, there's a whole lot of other stuff that comes along with that is just nasty. Like, your breath is probably gonna stink because you've been sucking on, some pipe. I don't like that. I don't do smells. You know what? If you're gonna go into my bathroom, I don't trust you in my bathroom. I don't want you going in there and shooting up stuff. And then you're gonna be zonked out and you're like a zombie and you're gonna want me to do something with you. And I don't want to. That's like date rape to me. Like, that makes me feel like, ugh. I just don't like it. I'm gonna tell you, Easter Sunday, which was yesterday, I got a message from these guys that were in Jersey City. Now, if you know anything about New Jersey, especially where I live, I'm pretty local to everything. So I can get into New York pretty quick, I can get into Jersey City pretty quick. So these guys have been messaging me for a long time, wanting to hang out. And it was super early, it was like 11:30 in the morning. And I had just kind of like rolled over. I was on my third episode of like Dr. Pimple Popper, which I'm obsessed with right now. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing anything for Easter, whatever. I'm definitely ready. Maybe I'll do something or whatever. But I was just like scrolling through. I wasn't taking it that serious or whatever. And the guy goes to me, sends me his address, and he's like, by the way, like we're a throuple, which is like a threesome couple or whatever. So I was just like, I knew that let's backtrack. I knew that these guys were a couple and that they played together. I assumed that they probably partied, but because they didn't offer or whatever, I didn't think anything of it. And one of the guys who was the bottom in the relationship is this kid that I know from Queens, where I grew up. And I always thought that he was super, super beautiful, super handsome. He's got like a butt on him that literally, like, if you use, like, I've known him since he was younger, so you would swear it was fake, but it's really not. Like, it's that good. That's the only reason why I said, all right, well, let me think about it, because I've been dying to bang this kid forever, and I never got around to it. So then his husband's like texting me saying like, hey, you know what, we're a throuple, these are the pictures of my two bottom boys or whatever, and we need another guy, we need a top over, so what's up? And he was like what's up, and I was like, all right. I said, listen, you got to give me some time because I need to shower, I need to do whatever, and then I can get over there. I was like, I'll probably be over there in like a half hour or so. That's, if that's decent. And then they got me with I have a parking spot, because if anybody knows me or knows anything about New Jersey, it is so hard to park in Jersey City, especially on a Sunday. Anytime that like parking is for free, it's so hard to park, either in New York City or in New Jersey. So, he got me with I have a parking space, don't worry about it. So I was like, that's gonna take a good like 10 minutes off my commute too. So then I, got ready and I headed on over there, and he said, don't worry about it. We do a few bumps here and there. It's not that serious. We don't party like that, which was a ruse to get me over there. So I go over there, and these people couldn't be nicer. And the kid that answers the door, and he's not a kid, he's a grown man, he's older than me now. I was super excited about it. I was like, you could tell that he parties, and you could tell that like there's been some stuff that has gone on. Maybe he's lived a little rough, right? But he's still very, very handsome. So I was like, all right, cool, bet. I'll come over, we're gonna get inside, everything's gonna happen or whatever. Yo, there was another guy that was there who was probably like their dealer, who was a really cute kid too. But like, just they were all like zombied and zonked out and like sweaty and cracky. And then I saw like, it's a beautiful place that they live in. Well, not beautiful, but it's a nice place that they live in. And then I seen like syringes, and I seen, you know, just like paraphernalia and then empty baggies and stuff like that. And I noticed, I said, all right. Then there's cigarette smoke all over. Everybody's smoking cigarettes. I hate cigarette smoke. I used to smoke. I've been clean for like 6 years off of smoking cigarettes. It's disgusting. So all you smell is cigarettes. And then the you know, the older gentleman that was, you know, that was hitting me up or whatever, very, very nice. They were all really nice, but they were all high, like high, to the point where like I felt like just like weird being there. Like it was not a good look. And you know, they were like, oh, you know, we've been partying since last night. We went out to this party, then to this party, and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it's just not a good look once you hit a certain age, just to be partying like that anyway. And I'm not saying that to be super judgmental or whatever, although it sounds really judgy and like ageist and whatever. It's just, for me, not that great of a look. For me, I wouldn't really want to do it. I feel like getting a good night's sleep is pretty, you know, important to me. I feel like, you know, trying to live my best organic life is like the best, you know, putting good things into your body, just doing what you should be doing. I just, it was a scene in that place. It just really, really was. It just wasn't like attractive. And the people that were there were super attractive. These were people that I had known and liked and wanted to have sex with pretty much my whole life. They were a little bit older than me or my age, and they ran in a group that I didn't really run with because I didn't party. I didn't go to circuit parties, and I didn't do all that stuff. I worked, I went to school, you know, I had other things that I was doing. And plus, you know, I'm never really into the whole group thing. I always think somebody gets left out. Luckily, it's the top that doesn't normally get left out. But anyways, it's just a weird, like, I've done it. I'm not gonna say that I haven't or whatever. Anyways, so, you know, the youngest kid that was there was like community, right? So he was kind of pretty much up for grabs or whatever. And he was very handsome, very cute. And the drugs didn't like take a hold of him yet, like they did to the other two or the other three that were there. And he was just so nice, and I wanted to just say like you don't have to do this. Like, you're young enough that like you don't have to be like in this toxic kind of couple. Like, I don't know what this guy is doing for you other than like, you know, buying you drugs and, you know, like doing you real good and, you know, maybe paying for you. I don't know the situation. And I don't even mean to sound like I sound so judgy, and I'm not. It's just like I just don't get it. And I just want to like, I want to really like be angry at these older guys that are getting these kids like on G, on you know, on Crystal. Like, just like, why are you doing that to these kids? Like, these kids don't deserve that. Like, if they're not comfortable, or if they are like too tight and they don't feel like bottoming or whatever, just pass it on to the next one. Like, don't give these kids party favors, man. Like, we have a responsibility as older guys in the community. And I never thought that I would say this because I always try to like defy my age, but like, you know, I'm not 20 anymore, you know what I mean? I definitely have a responsibility to, you know, the new kids that are coming out, or even, you know, like, just to be a good example. You want to be a good example. You want to, like, you know, I was taught, you know, by the older guys that, like, you know, you didn't need a man to define you. You don't have to sleep with someone that you don't want to sleep with. You don't want to sleep with anybody that you like work with or whatever. You don't want to get into that life, and do not do Tina with these crackheads. Like, just don't do it. Like, live your best life. And yes, I got into some stuff, and yes, I needed to, you know, to get my stuff together at one point. And it's just, when you get to a certain age and you're still doing the same old thing, and I guess this applies like in life and dating and relationships in general, like, don't you get tired? Like, I would just get tired. I would get exhausted. There is nothing about me that wants to drive into God knows what and go party for 3 days. Not for pride, not for anything. I just don't do that. I pick maybe like 1 or 2 good days out of the week or what have you, and I plan it in advance because I need to, because, you know, you just need to. You got to get your stuff together. And and I do it accordingly. And you know, whoever wants to hang hangs. If not, whatever. I even stopped like lately like drinking, and I never really drank to the point of like, you know, just being totally inebriated. But like I stopped doing that too, because you know, you want to like, I don't know, I want to know my surroundings. I want to know like what's up. I got like super drunk last Halloween. I ended up losing my phone. It was a whole big disaster, and I was just like acting irrational just because I didn't know how to react. So I stopped drinking like that. You know, it's not easy for everybody. I understand that. I mean, like, listen, I can't stop like eating cake. I wish I could. You know, I have a serious sugar addiction, but I try. You know what I mean? I try to do like my best. Where was I going with this? What I'm going is that I feel like we have a responsibility to like not get these kids hooked on Tina, you know, not get these kids like hooked on stuff. And you know, any like younger kid that's watching or whatever is laughing at me like, oh, you will fart, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I do, because you know what? I grew up on the streets of New York. I grew up in Hell's Kitchen in Chelsea, and I partied and hung out with everybody, with the best of them. And I did not do drugs like that on purpose. I did it because I didn't do it because I would see these older guys that were beautiful at one point, and the drugs just rip them apart. They do. It starts with your face, it starts with your mouth, it starts with your body. And you know, for us, you know, this community, we focus so much on beauty, and you know, like have to have a good body, and you have to be well groomed, and you have to have the best clothes and all this other stuff, and then you're gonna go and ruin it because of like some drug, some like sex drug. And it's not even like after the feeling, after like for someone like me that's gonna come over and see you and you're all zonked out and sweaty and just all over the place, and you're not your best self, like why do you want anybody to ever see you at not your best self? And then you forever have that like ingrained in somebody's head too. It's like, I'll never look at those guys again the same, because it was just such a bad time. Like, you know, of course, you know, I did what I did or whatever, but it wasn't like, it would have been so much more enjoyable if there wasn't like any kind of life substance there. Like that's really what it was, you know. And I really felt bad for the kid, the guy that I knew from around the way, because he was so, and he's still so handsome, but he was just like, he was like one of those guys that you would see and you'd be like, my God, like I would give like anything to stick it in this kid, because he's just so beautiful. And he's still handsome, but like not like before. As nice as can be, everybody, like I said, was super nice. It's just, you know, it's just a shame. It's a shame. And y'all have to stop doing drugs. Like you have to. It just is not. You are gonna grow up and you are going to look awful, and you're not gonna have any teeth, and you're gonna have to go to rehab 1,000 times, and you're never gonna be able to get your stuff together the way that you should. And you know what? Everybody's path is their own destiny in life, and I get it. And I feel like the whole like just say no thing or whatever, but like don't let these guys talk you into doing drugs. And when did G make a comeback, by the way? Like people are doing GHB again. Did we stop doing that? Because I thought we stopped doing that in like early 2000. Last time I heard of anybody doing G was maybe like 2000. I did G in like 2000, and I did it a couple times, and that was it. I was just like, why? Maybe because I just don't like sex and drugs. I either liked one or the other. I really like, the two didn't meet for me. When I was out getting high and just doing stuff or whatever and hanging out, I didn't incorporate sex with it. I still don't. I think that, you know, for me, I don't even like to get super drunk and have sex, because then you don't really remember it. You're not performing at your best. I like to kind of you know, savor the flavor. That's what I'm trying to say. I just don't get it. I don't know, man. Y'all gotta stop doing drugs. You really do. Everybody has to stop. It's just crazy. It's too much out there. It really is. You guys are like so beautiful and young, and you have all the world ahead of you. Do not waste your money. Do not waste somebody else's money, and do not waste your time on that, because it always gets into a seedy situation. You're always hanging out with the wrong people. You're getting into trouble on some stupid stuff. You know, first it's like parking violations, then you forget to pay those because you were too high, you don't remember it, and then it's one after the other, after the other, after the other. And then your teeth are starting to rot, and then your insides are starting to rot, and then you're having sex with these trolls that you would never have sex with ever, ever, ever. And then they're giving you stuff, and you're like, oh my God, you know, can't believe I got gonorrhea from this guy that I don't even know. It was ugly. He was damn near 80. I see it all the time. I see these beautiful boys just getting out of their mind, and they think these grandpas that they're letting on top of them are like, you know, that it's like a hot scene, and it's not. It's just really, really not. We got to do better. We really do. We got to stop doing drugs, man. We really do. And we got to stop. Just stop. Stop with the G. Nobody does that anymore. Stop with the Tina, man. Tina is like some backwoods drug that like people are doing out there, like in Alabama or whatever too. Like, it's a huge thing. Like, I was very naive. I thought that like that people had stopped doing that. I really, really did. Especially gay guys. I thought that we stopped all that stuff that doesn't make us pretty anymore. I thought that we stopped it. But these, I'm telling you, man, I cannot, every day on Grindr or Scruff or anybody, it's always just like party with an exclamation point. No. I'm starting to get offended, man. I don't look like that. I get offended when people ask me for a cigarette. I'm like, what do I look like? Do I look like I smoke? No. Do I look like I take Tina? Absolutely not. It's a sad day when we got to come on here and talk about it. But you know what? I think that we don't have that many leaders in our community. You know, I'm telling you, when I was growing up, all the guys that looked after me always told me, don't do X, Y, Z. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. And even though I thought they were whack or whatever, and I'd still go out to, you know, to Rawhide, or I'd still go out and I would do whatever, but I always knew, I would be like, you know what, these guys that are out on the dance floor and they're all zonked out and stuff or whatever, I don't want to be like that. I'll stick to drinking, or I'll stick to smoking a little something, and then, you know, like that's that. I always like to be about my business though. Like, that's true. I mean, I always worked and played in Chelsea and in Hell's Kitchen, and I didn't want like my boss or anybody to see me all like messed up, and my clients to see me like that or whatever. Even when I bartended, even when I worked the door and stuff like that, like I didn't like that. It's not for me. And it shouldn't be for you guys either. You guys are young, you guys are beautiful, and even if you're not young and, you know, you're in the prime of your life and you're at your stride and you're doing what you got to do, put down the drugs, man. Put down that Tina. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Get yourself somewhere, get yourself some help. It's not worth it. It really, really isn't. Because if you're dealing with something, like, there's something more. Like, the drugs, they say, like, in AA and NA, like, the drugs are but a symptom of what's wrong with us, right? So if you, like, there are two types of, like, drug users, I feel. There's drug users of, like, the hopeless variety that really have something wrong with them inside, and they were destined to be addicts, and they, you know, they have that gene in them. And then there's just, you know, people that get hooked because they've fallen into something that's very, you know, addictive, and the habit starts going and all that other stuff or whatever, and, you know, you need help with it. You know, I just, you know, I feel like the best sex that you can have is like when you have like a connection with someone, or when you're like super, super attracted to them. If you are not feeling it that day, and, you know, someone's trying to entice you saying, hey, you might not feel it, you know what, take this and you'll definitely feel it, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. If poppers don't get you, then just don't do it. Because then you start acting all stupid on T, you start looking for stuff, and you start getting all sweaty, and then next thing you know, you're up for like 3 days, and you got all these strangers in your house. You get punched and robbed, and all this. The people are messed up out there. Like, honestly, like, you feel like you'll invite somebody over to come and bang you or whatever, and then you're so out of it that they go and they rob you stuff. They take your keys. They take God knows what or whatever. Like, people are really messed up nowadays. Like, it's crazy. You can't just let anybody into your space, especially when you don't know what's going on. It's real out there. I wouldn't do it, and y'all shouldn't do it either. Anyways, that's just a rant. Thank you so much for stopping in. If I offended anybody, I don't mean to offend anybody. I really, really don't. I'm just speaking upon experience and some life to y'all. Just please, like, we don't need this. We don't need this in our community. We already got people like Mike Pence calling us like freaks and all this other stuff or whatever. Let's not prove them right. Let's do it right. And, you know, let's prove these people wrong. Let's prove these Republicans wrong. Let's, you know, let's get it together, y'all. Because we really can. We can rule the world. Like, the gays, we pretty much rule the world anyway. Everybody loves us. Love yourselves. Don't do drugs. Don't do Tina. Don't booty bump. Don't do none of that stuff. Go to the movies with somebody. Ask somebody out on a date. Do something nice. Anyways, listen, if you like it, share, subscribe, share, please. I don't know what other videos I'm gonna do for you. I have a free week pretty much, so this is probably like day one of me just ranting. You already know the Beverly Hills is coming on tomorrow. I'm gonna have a recap of that. I'm gonna have a recap of New York Housewives, and I'll probably do a mukbang at some point this week. So thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Boop.